Alrighty, Raine, Chantal, welcome.
Hello.
Thank you. I've talked to Raine a bunch. It's the first time I've got to talk to you, Chantal. This is a pleasure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, hello. It's nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. It's, you kick around in this radio thing long enough and you get to talk to everybody. Or at least you hope, anyway.
Yeah.
So first, the obvious question to me, it's the Forgive Me tour.
We've been together for a while. A lot of forgiveness going on.
So no one in particular is doing this tour as
Just
like
a
getting brownie points.
It's like our daily meditation forgiveness.
Intention. Daily intention.
And like touring together, I know some artists that I talk to, they are very excited. They're like, I'm going on tour because it's a break from home.
Oh, wow.
And you guys are bringing home on the road.
Yeah.
How is it?
For us, it's like a vacation.
Okay.
And I think it's like the closest thing that I'll ever get to jazz. It's definitely not jazz music, but in terms of the show, like
The
people
spontaneity.
laugh, they cry, we talk a lot on stage, we interpret like our own hit songs, but we obviously play songs from a documentary. We have a new album we're working, so you hear new songs. It's just the most dynamic thing that I've ever been a part of.
I mean, yeah, like you bring up the documentary, and it was a couple years ago, you and I were talking, and you mentioned in it that, you learned a lot about yourself from watching the documentary. Did it have the same effect for you, Chantal, or did you just realize, no, everything I thought about him was right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Women are just different animals, and I think that, technology is a funny thing because mostly it's for me, it has done. I've been disappointed by, I think it falls short of the power, the potential that it has. But man, coaches have their teams watch tape after games and practices. Our kids, we have 3 boys, so I got to stay and watch tape, And I think that people could benefit from watching how they essentially dialogue with anybody consistently, be it a work mates or subordinates or people that they live with. I think that's probably the best gift one of the best gifts that technology could give us if we could only treat relationships like a sport the way that we do actual team sports, And sometimes it's just like a small pivot, and we don't realize how much power there is in just like a small tiny transition to something better. And I don't know. I've spent a lot of time working with a charity called War Child, and I learned something, and that is that in any conflict zone, any conflict, really just one pivot is needed to make sort of change the world. And I think on the micro, we can do that in our own homes. We can just switch something up. Maybe it's, in our film, if you watch our film called I'm Going to Break Your Heart, not to plug it, but there is actually tools in the film. Like, Raine and I leave each other a note. We've always left each other this sort of same acronym note for the past 24 years. And it's, do you know how much I love you? And, you could just be like busy and in your thing and sort of forget. And you see that note maybe when he's leaving town or when he knows I'm having a hard day or something like that. And it just it does sort of change the world, right? If I'm better too, it means I'm nicer to my kids. I'm nicer to the people I work with. I mean, it's mental health, right? To be a great partner. So I just don't know why we don't talk about it more, but certainly the tech piece of being able to watch the tape has been a great gift to Raine and I.
I wish I had it today. Before I came in here, I had an argument with my wife. So, I mean, I kind of wish I had tape to go back on today, to be totally honest. I'd love to be able to show her how she reacted and also how I reacted to see if I reacted the way she thought I reacted. It'd be nice to have that.
Well, something that I think goes on with my husband and I think it is because, men are big and strong, for all intents and purposes. And sometimes, their responses are because they are our protectors. They are, they have that component baked in. And so sometimes women being more sensitive for the purposes that are obvious, we need women to be incredibly sensitive. We can say, well, that's too much. Like, ouch, that was a lot. Your reaction was a lot, husband. I'm sure your wife maybe felt that way. And men will sort of feel like, what are you talking about? Like, that wasn't even a big deal.
Yeah, can we get your wife on the phone?
And
That might be very helpful. Like, believe me, she is not happy with me right now.
No,
so.
but
Really? I love it.
but the thing is, you know, we want to fight that so hard when we were being called out, and I think at the end of the day, the truth is that what if you just said, okay, like I wasn't intentionally. I don't wake up in the morning to hurt my wife.
Yeah.
You know, like we have to believe each other as a good person with good intentions, but we are human. And so sometimes it's just like, it's good to either pause and not defend it. That would be a start. Or even just later on be like, you know, yeah, I'm sorry. Whether you feel good about saying sorry or not, that's, you know, that's why it's called the forgiveness tour. It's hard to say I'm sorry. But once we do it, I think, you know, sorry has always been this like weakness. Right? It's a sign that I messed up, I failed, I'm bad. But I think it's so powerful. Like when Raine, actually we had a good little fight before we went on the stage yesterday. And I didn't say anything. I really intentionally thought to myself, you know what? I am going to let that go. What his reaction was on stage. I really did. And you know what? He came to me and he said, are we okay after that? That was too much? He said, I'm sorry. If I had gone to Raine and I strangled an apology out of him, it wouldn't have worked.
They would have said it like, I don't know if Raine, if you're like me, but sometimes you know that's what you need to say.
But yeah.
So you say it to kind of like, can we just end this?
No, but in him, like in a lot of dudes, it's like they don't want to. They don't want to. And that's an amazing trait. Men kind of shouldn't be told what to do because they have to be able to defend. I mean, I think it's baked in, and that's okay. But, you know, I learned in some of the communications things that I, you know, had to do communications training, even talk to blokes like yourself, like, to know, you know. And one of the things I learned is that we shouldn't try to change our personalities because they are made up of very individual traits. Rather, what we should try to do is, you know, mark them up and down as needed.
Right.
And so that self-awareness of like, hey, I'm powerful it's great to have that awareness, but like when to dial it back is also, and you can, and it doesn't mean you're not powerful anymore. It just means that you had that sort of discerning, you know, this understanding of when to be powerful or not. So there's so many cool things you can learn. But if you watch our film, what's so funny is, you know, there's only like 4 or 5 tools in there. And honestly, if you didn't like really dig in, but you just learned a couple of those things, honestly, just a few simple pivots, and it's better, it's easier. Following this girl right now on, her name is Hey Julia Woods on Instagram. And what I find so nice about her approach to couples, you know, coaching and stuff is, I see you, babe, is that it's all about like thriving. It's not just like, hey, we've been together a long time, we're making it work. It's like, have fun. It's your person. Like Raine and I had so much fun on this tour, and thanks to everybody out in Atlantic Canada. Oh my God, we had a blast. You guys were amazing.
It's not over.
I was gonna say you're not done yet.
No, we're not done yet.
We got tonight.
But like,
I wanted to say we're releasing
please,
some tickets in an hour. It's sold out, but there's
we are.
Yeah, there's a little block of tickets we're going to release.
Yeah, I did check before, and I think they've put the link up to buy tickets.
Oh, great.
Yeah, because I said it was sold out, and then when I went back, I saw. So that's the good news, is that there are a few. Because
we had, from our guest list, we didn't use it all, so we're going to release the rest.
Nice. That's excellent. And what you were talking about, like the dialing it up and back, it kind of went into, so obviously I'm coming in here and back of my head wondering, okay, how do I make things right when I get home? But like, we're not doing creative stuff, which is even more sensitive, right?
Yeah, I don't.
It's all collaboration.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Yeah, I look at it as that. Like, to me, it's all about collaboration. No matter like raising your kids, working with your partner, being at work, like the way you communicate with everyone is a collaboration, and it's something that we can all get better at. Just takes a little bit of patience and a little bit of work, but I don't think it's not that big of a deal when you start to dig into it. And I think that's what our show, I think people who come to these shows see that, where it's like, yeah, it can be a little bit tense on stage for a second, but then we end up laughing.
Yeah, get over it. Get over it. I mean, you know, we do hurt each other all day long.
I love
true,
reading the
but-
comments after the show because people walk away saying, I don't remember a show where I like literally laughed out loud that many times, but also cried and enjoyed the music. So I think it's just such a, in a way, maybe normalizes. People see us on stage kind of talking about our crap, and I think it normalizes.
It's all the same, by the way. We get down the rabbit hole with our partner, and we think, oh, we're such a. It's all
Everybody
of us.
has-
It's
everybody's
the
got the
same
same
crap.
stuff, yeah.
It's like something like 5% of people don't have it,
Right.
but everyone else has it. And then there's a few people.
And by it, you mean like marriage crap.
Marriage
and-
crap.
Well,
you
yeah, I
know?
was gonna, like,
Yeah.
people sometimes will look and say, like, celebrity, so like, oh, they don't have any problems or anything. But I'm sure there's been a time where somebody put a towel back the wrong way and it irks. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like, because
my-
it's always
Are
the
you kidding
same.
me?
Like,
Yeah.
Or we
little-
don't hear from a celebrity couple for a couple months, and then next week we get the announcement that it's over.
Right.
And respect our privacy right now. And same thing, copy paste.
Right.
Because it's hard. And yeah, sure, celebrities spend time away from each other, but so do we. Like so do regular couples spend time away from each other. It's all normal. I think that there are very few couples that they just kind of like, it just comes easy to them. It came easy to their parents and they found each other. Right. That's normal for them. But the rest of us struggle. And I think there's couples like Raine and I, I think he and I are just the right amount stubborn. He's Italian, I'm Ukrainian. Whoo! Put those people together. And I think that, we don't give up easily. And so what that has created for us is an opportunity to figure it out. And like Raine said, it's like there's nothing that's so bad unless, there is mental health, alcohol, right, substance abuse, cheating, gambling. Like, there are things that, okay, someone's got to get some major help. But outside of that, we're too short with each other. We're rude to each other. We forget.
Yeah, we started writing a book this year.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, just based on all this stuff and like the stuff that we've learned from our marriage coach, and from the documentary, we got a lot of feedback from fans just saying, "Hey, we just want more of this. Like, is there more stuff?" And so it's almost like more of a manual, like just to get through stuff. So it's not a really heady
because they
book,
don't give you a good handbook, do they?
There's
Yeah,
not one. Like, you watch Beetlejuice and there's the handbook for the recently deceased.
Yeah.
It's like, where's the handbook for the recently married? Like
what
we're
the
not,
hell?
We're not done it yet, but I really hope, I want it to be one of those books where you just can open up at any page and start
keep
reading.
it on the coffee table,
Yeah.
laugh, or, pick it up and actually learn something. But, to your point, it's like, I remember Raine and I brought our first baby home. You spend one night at the hospital and you come home, you got a kid, you got a human. And he and I looked at each other at one point and we were like, where's the adult? Like, okay, I guess now I'm a nurse and now you're a doc. Like, what? And we're just sort of given all these adulting, responsibilities, and you got to sort it. You got to be tough.
Yeah, marriage is,
And marriage is like that.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, and I think like with the show and then the documentary and now the book and even just the collaborations in the music, you guys are doing something like that.
It's a public service, man.
Well,
No, I'm just
but
kidding.
no. But it's something that's not done. Like we're talking about, like the celebrity. Mm-hmm. Like we said, everybody has issues in marriage, but it almost like celebrity wants to keep it idyllic, right? Through publicists or whatever, everything's got to be perfect.
Yeah.
And
We're
it's
not.
kind of
We're
like,
definitely
We're
not.
not.
Yeah.
and it's the mental health conversation.
It is.
Kind of in a different way, where
Absolutely.
it's like, you know what,
nailed it.
we're going to pull this back and talk about these things.
Absolutely. I can't believe
most
that it's
people
not
deal with them.
more talked about. What I do think is interesting is that, this whole whatever, Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz, we're in this era, Oprah, of talking about things. But I think there's such an incredible opportunity for Raine and I is that we're living it.
Right.
And we're I mean, like I said, I mentioned there's I'm always seeing new people pop up that are helpful, but we are actually living it. We are dedicated, committed, and we understand the power of the history. Like the first time Raine and I sat down for coaching, one of the first things that our lovely friend, now good friend, said to us, Dr. John Gray, and he was the head of the Stanford Neurology Lab for 15 years. This guy is like no chump. And he looked at us and he said, you have a whole history. Wow, that's cool. You got 2 kids. At the time we only had 2 kids. You got 2 kids together. Wow. And he presented the gift to us that is our marriage. He gave that gift back to us. And I think on the daily, it's freaking hard. You got to get the kids to school. You got to, hand in this on time. You got to fly there. You got to do that. It's a hard, go, even in the best of times. And so to keep a little time and energy focus on that gift that we are to each other is paramount, to our mental health. So
it is, you can nail it. It's mental health for sure.
Yeah. Like, and I can see that kind of like I have mental health things, so I deal with that as well. And so it's like I can see the parallel, and also in just the parallel of it's things we don't talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and I don't get. I mean, hello, everybody partners. Like people, most people, a lot of people partners. So, so make it good. That's all. Make it good.
You mentioned bringing the baby home, and then like who's the adult here, and then now like your oldest is like what 19 now, or just
19,
about. How is it parenting basically almost an adult, also trying to have like a music career? Because you guys,
we just talked about it the other night. Actually, it's not about parenting so much. It's just being there and being supportive now. Like I think that is flipped to where we just let like Rowan he writes all his own music. He's his first EP out. He's working. He's just he's really pursuing that, and I just want to be there for him when he has a question rather than trying to control him at all. Like you can't do that.
Yeah. Suddenly the control is gone.
Which is great because I think, he even said it. He's pretty mindful. He's like, I need to make my own mistakes. And it's like, yeah, you're right.
Wow. Yeah.
But I mean, he's lucky going down a music career path where he can kind of talk to these two Canadian music icons and go like, hey, I got a little question because you guys didn't have that.
No, definitely.
You're so right.
But there's something like we're there for him, but I think early on we were trying to really help him and direct everything, and I think we've let go of that. And it's just like he does need to make mistakes, and he does need to come to us when he wants to, as opposed to us just trying to pound stuff into him. And I think it's a much.
What do they say? You pave the way. You help the kid for the path. You don't try to make the path for the kid. You know what I mean? That's sort of what it feels like now.
That's what I meant to say.
Well, I mean, I don't know. What is that saying? But
I don't know. Something like that. But it is true. It's like he's like incredibly motivated, very driven. So I think it's kind of nice to be able to take that perspective and just watch and then be there when he needs it.
Yeah. And it's
it's hard to watch your kid make mistakes.
Yeah,
like wow,
sure.
We have had a couple lessons in it recently, and not stuff where it's like you crashed the car, she's pregnant, nothing like that.
Yeah,
but just watching your kid.
Well, he won't do
mistakes.
social media.
Oh, he won't do social media.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, then how are you going to promote your music? He goes, well, I don't know, but I'm not doing TikTok. And I'm like,
okay, good luck on that. Or just stuff like that where it's hard to and they're out of diapers. Like, what are you gonna do? You can't can't fix it.
Yeah, and you have to respect someone as they grow into themselves and let them do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Shifting gears a little, the last time we chatted, you were talking about it was just before the NFT, the OLP NFT came out. And I was curious because you were like so high, but there's been such a huge shift in the crypto world.
Drops.
What are your thoughts now? Like, are you still kind of in on it, or are you kind of?
Yeah, I mean, there were three or a couple pillars of like what blockchain and Web3 and NFTs got a bad rap that I really still adhere to. And to me, what was great was the transparency of transactions, like knowing where money's going, artists getting paid right away instead of third parties holding on to that money for 6 or 9 months. If an artist has a ticket, like if we have tickets, which I'm sure we do, for Tonight Show at Rebecca Cohen, on secondary sites, and they're like triple the value. All of a sudden, if they were on the blockchain, an artist would have, if it sells again, an artist gets paid again, which seems fair, right?
100%.
So what happened with NFTs was it became very speculative, and people basically doing Ponzi schemes, like pump and dumps with like, hey, there's this community of these spinning heads, everybody buy them at this price, but then the people at the bottom would get out early and sell them, and the thing would fall. So it really made people skeptical and
disillusioned.
Yeah, it kind of ruined it, and it's going to take a while, but the technology behind it all I think is sound. But I still really adhere to like, I want to know our fans, And right now it's Instagram, it's TikTok, it's, ticket sites, it's Spotify. They know who my fans are, but I can't connect them to them directly. They monetize, they control my fan base.
We end up a bit more like tools for them.
Right.
In a way.
Well, yeah. It's
and I'm
almost
stuck. Like I have to, because I want to, I want to be like sort of seen by my audience so that we can, grow up together and all that good stuff. But like Raine and I, for example, like we wouldn't be able to, if I got hacked and I lost my account or something, God forbid something goes wrong.
Well, here's the thing. Like MySpace,
I don't have a way of connecting with all those people.
MySpace was something that was really interesting, like in 2012. And so all artists and other creators built communities on there and spent a lot of time talking to your fans, getting to know them, and then it goes away.
Yeah.
So there goes that community. The same can happen for Instagram. The same, to be honest, Spotify is not like a profitable business. It could go away. So all that time and energy spent. So the only way artists survive in the future is owning your fan base. Yeah. And that means just having a direct connection. So a partner of mine from Toronto, Mitch Butler, we built a platform called Drops with 2 R's. And what we do at our shows now, and people see it tonight, the Rebecca Cohen, there'll be these banners with Chantal and ours face on there, but it's a QR code you scan. That gets you some free rewards and gifts, including the chance to meet us after the show, but it connects you directly to us. So when we leave Halifax tonight, we're going to have like 400 or 500 people that checked in. And it's super simple. It takes 2 seconds to check in at the show.
And that way, if somebody, like, they're not a big Instagram person or whatever, we can personally email with them the next time we're coming to town.
Instagram's garbage. Like, if I post something, I'm only able to reach like 4 or 5% of my followers anyway, unless I do paid ads.
The feeds
and
are
then
insane,
and the algorithms change.
The algorithms
like, it's such a game.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like, especially working on from the media side, you want to promote you guys coming in.
Yeah.
I put it on Facebook. Maybe a couple people see
it. No one's seeing it anymore. So the problem is realizing that these things are they're just they're making money. Yeah. They're making money off yours and mine IP,
our content,
and they don't care about anything else besides like the money and the paid ads that they're taking. So this to me Drops is like it's finally that connection. And then when we have something new now, we're not going to bug people. It's like an email every now and then. We respect the privacy. Yep. We don't sell that information, but it's a direct connection. Finally, it's kind of like the old punk rock ethic when you come into a club and there'd be a mailing list at the merch booth and you sign in, right?
Yeah.
It's that, but it's digitized. It's easy. It's cool. So I would say anyone who's coming to the show tonight, definitely scan that QR code and join Drops.
First off, when you think about like Spotify or YouTube or anything like that, it's such a crazy business model of like, I'm just going to make a space and then I'm going to rely on a bunch of other people to fill the content.
Isn't that
for me?
Crazy?
Right? Like I'm not going to do any content. I'm just going to rely on other people.
Yeah.
And then I'll give them like a sprinkle of what I'm taking in.
Yeah.
But I think like you're right.
It's like subcontractor, like essentially it's wild.
But I think right now there's this really cool chance, like you were saying, for the artist to be closer to the fan.
Well, I'll tell you this. I would say this. It's not just a chance. There's a dirty secret in the music business that people don't understand. Most bands, besides like Taylor Swift and The Weeknd and Pink, that are playing these giant stadiums, are break even or losing money on tours right now. It's so expensive to tour. So it's getting really hard for artists to survive if they don't have like that direct connection with the band. This whole thing starts to collapse.
So it's more paramount than ever that these artists.
It's kind of like it reminds me of how like this is starting to really come up for people. News is no longer localized; it's nationalized, right?
Yep.
And it sort of feels like that we're going that way. Everything is just so mainstream. Like the art, the intake, like everything we see, and it just feels like we're just turning into like these robots. And I think the most, to me, I'm just seeing it really at this age, but the beautiful thing about humanity is the individual, the individuality, right? We're nobody special, but we all have an individual story, and it's incredible. So to lose that is, I feel like that's what's happening. If you're not a Taylor Swift or Madonna or whatever, then where's everything? How do I find people? How do I connect with individual? Like, the intimacy is getting lost, And Raine and I think, over these past like 3 decades almost, have developed this like pretty cool relationship with this country in on a certain level with people, and it's intimate. It feels so special, and I would hate to lose that. I love that he has this thing we can. It's authentic. We can email people and say, hey, we just had a fight last night. Help us. No, I'm just kidding.
That's me. But I was going to say, though, and it's like that, like, this job, like my job, standing here, like I have to me, and I say this when I'm talking to anybody like coming up, like it's not like I'm a big high and mighty, but it's like if you're your honest, authentic self, and you share that with people when you're talking to them on the air, that's what will make a connection.
Honesty is it.
Not like,
copy
it's
paste.
10 o'clock, like that,
shuck job.
that type of thing.
That stuff's over. It's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah. And the one thing that I think, something like the Drop program or even social media, even though it's lost it, is the chance for us all to be more honest with each other. The problem is now, like social media, we have to put up everything's
the
perfect
facade,
veil.
exactly.
But to me, and I think that's why the shows, like your guys' shows, are having those reactions with the audience, because it is, again, it's authentic and it's real.
There's some
and that's
intimacy
what we connect with
and
as
honesty.
humans.
Yeah, the humanity's there for sure. Yeah, and also in a world where today, I mean, we also we're getting everything, right? We're getting all the images of the not humanity,
right?
And so giving people an opportunity to feel good and feel seen and not have to get stuck there as well, I think is really important right now.
Excellent. Well, tonight, Rebecca Cohen, we do have some more tickets out there. So sonicconcerts.com is where to go to nab those. And hopefully you guys will be back again soon.
We will, for sure.
Yeah. We loved it. Yeah, we're just so thrilled.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.